Hi everybody, this is Crystal. So today I'm going to be showing you how to crochet this wrap here. So this is the Helena Wrap. I had to lay it out because it's pretty long. As you can see, it is longer at the top, and then the sides taper down, and then it goes straight across at the bottom. So it's like a, I don't know, well, if I would, well, you know, kept going, it could have been a triangle, but it's like a triangle that was cut in half. So, yes, a rectangle with taper sides. As you can see, it's got a little bit of filet crochet design there. Very dainty looking, and a nice little pretty border on the bottom. Isn't that beautiful? Pretty stuff. It's very easy to do. You guys want to go ahead and get started, and I'll show you the yarn that was used. The lights in here are bad. It's actually more pinkish purple than what it's showing, but I'll show you guys how to do it. Super easy. You can use any yarn you like, but let's go ahead and talk about the yarn that I used. I think it's I think it's pretty. All right, let's do it. Okay, so for that particular wrap, you've seen how it was straight across the top and then angled down and then went straight across the bottom with that border there. So the longest part from at the top was approximately 95 inches, and then the bottom straight across is approximately 64, and then from top to the bottom is about 26 inches. All right, so that's the measurements of that particular shawl. That's counting the border and everything like that. And the yarn that was used for that shawl is from Ice Yarns. It's just called Antique. That's the number. I don't know if I don't think they carry this anymore, but it's classified as a number. They're saying it's a number 2 weight yarn. Now I would have to agree that it is a thicker 2 though. So there we go. Yes, I think that's quite a thick 2, possibly a 3 weight there, but whatever you think. You can actually use any yarn. This is a 100% acrylic yarn, and there are 250 meters per ball. To make the shawl the size I did, you're going to need approximately 1,700 yards of I'm going to call that probably a 3 or thicker 2, but whatever you want. But anyways, you can use any weight of yarn that you want, any color of yarn that you want. It does not matter. I'm going to give you the multiple, so you can chain the size that you want. If you don't want it the same size as mine, you can just chain your chain and the multiple that I give you for however big that you want it to be. So any yarn weight will work. Any yarn fiber will work. You know, whatever you want to do, it's your shawl. But I just show you what I use. So that's what I used, about 1,700 yards of that. And then it was made with a size H, which is a 5mm crochet hook. All right. So you want to go ahead and get started? It's not hard. Let's do it. Okay. One more thing I want to mention before we get started. I'm sorry, because I know some people's going to ask. The shawl that you saw there in the pictures, the shawl I just showed you on the video, it was blocked. All right. It was wet blocked. And then it was steam blocked because I used a 100% acrylic. So I wet blocked it and then I steam blocked it. I generally do not block too many things that I make, but I think with that filet design that it had going on in the middle, it was more beneficial for me to block it. But that is nothing that you have to do. You never have to do that. Like I said, I rarely block anything, but I thought maybe it would benefit, like I said, this particular design to block it. But you block at your own discretion. You do not have to do it. But yes, mine was wet blocked and steam blocked. All right, let's do it. Let's do it. All right, so I'm going to show you the big part on a smaller scale with a different yarn, of course, and then we'll put the border on at the end. So this particular the main portion of it there has that little filet design, and it is done in a multiple of 10 plus 7. 10 plus 7. So if you want to make yours bigger or smaller than mine, remember, you can chain to whatever chain you desire. And the chain that you chain is the top portion of the wrap. So that's the part on mine that measures about 95 inches. So you do, you know, yours at whatever size you want. But if you want to follow along with me, you would want to start out with a chain of 297 chains. 297. So 290 is my multiple of 10 plus the 7 is 297. All right. Now, if you do follow along with me and you chain 297 and yours isn't reaching 95 inches, that's fine. It probably just means that you have different tension than me. You can always add more to it or take away whatever you want. Or, you know, it's fine. But yes, 10 plus 7, multiple, or following along with me, 297 chains. This is the top of the shawl. And then now we will slowly taper it down, and then it'll end up square at the bottom. Let's begin row 1. Row 1, we are going to do a double crochet in the 4th chain from our hook. So we don't count the one that's on our hook, all right? 1, 2, 3, 4. And in that 4th chain, we're going to do a double crochet like that. And then we're going to work across, and we're going to put a double crochet in every stitch of the chain. So row 1 is just a double crochet row. We're working 1 double crochet in every stitch for the length of the chain, and I will see you when I make it to the end of the row. Alright, so I've made it to the end of row 1, and if you're following along with me, counting this chain here on the end, he's acting as a double crochet, okay, as always here. You should have 295 double crochets, all right, counting him. Now, if you're not following along with me, you will have 2 less double crochets than the amount of chains that you had. And that is counting him. Remember, he's a little double crochet right now, so make sure you count him. And you will have 295 following along with me. So let's go ahead and start row 2. All right. We are going to chain 3, 1, 2, 3, and we're going to turn our work around. Now we're going to put a double crochet into the next 4 stitches. So we don't go into this first stitch, but we do go into the next one. So not right here, but the next one. We're going to do a double crochet, and then the next one, because we need to do 4. It's double crochet, that's 2. The next stitch, we're going to do a double crochet, and then the next one is a double crochet, just like that. So we got that chain 3 on the end, and then 4 double crochets. Now we're going to start the repeat of row 2. So we're going to chain 2, 1, 2, and we're going to skip 2 stitches. Skip, 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 and we're going to do a puff stitch in the next. Puff is very, very easy to do. So you skip your 2 stitches, and then we're going to yarn over and go into the stitch that you are supposed to go into, and we're going to drop a loop. We want to do that 3 times. Again, yarn over, go into the same stitch, drop a loop. One more time, yarn over, go into that same stitch, drop a loop. We did that 3 times, and you will have 7 loops on your hook. You want to yarn over and go through all 7 loops like that, and then you want to chain 1 to lock it into place. And after you chain 1, take in your main yarn there and give it a tug. That tightens up that chain 1, all right, and tightens it up to the top of that puff. Now we're going to chain 2, 1, 2. We're going to skip 2 again, skip, skip, and now we're going to put 1 double crochet in each of the next 5 stitches. So skip your 2, skip, skip, and 1 double in each of the next 5. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, and there is 5. And that ends the repeat for row 2. So it starts with the chain 2. So let's go ahead and do it again. 1, 2. So we're going to chain 2, 1, 2, skip 2, skip, skip, and we will puff stitch into the next. So we yarn over and go into the stitch and draw up a loop 3 times. That's 1. Yarn over, go into it again, draw up a loop. That's 2. One more time. Yarn over, go into the same stitch, draw up a loop. That's 3. 7 loops on your hook. Yarn over and go through all 7 loops like that. Chain 1 to lock that into place, and then take your main yarn and give it a tug, a little bit of a tug, and that tightens up that chain 1 on that puff. Now we're going to chain 2, 1, 2, skip 2, skip, skip, and we're going to put 1 double crochet in each of the next 5. So skip 2, skip, skip, and 1 double in each of the next 5. And that is the repeat that we will continue to repeat until we get to the end of row 2. Like that. So again, you would chain 2, skip 2, puff. Chain 2, skip 2, 5 doubles. And you would keep repeating that. And I'm going to meet up with you at the end of row 2, and I'm going to show you how we're going to end in the rows from now on, okay? All right, so since the shawl starts to taper at angles, we have to decrease at the end of our rows, okay? And this is how it's going to be done. So by repeating the repeat on row 2, you would end in a complete repeat. So of course you would end with 5 double crochets. But we don't want to put our last double crochet into the top of the last stitch. This is how the decreasing is going to be done. We want to put it in between the last stitch and the second to the last stitch. All right, so we're gonna we would, like I said, we would end our repeat with 5 doubles. I've done 4. Normally the last double would go on your last stitch, but instead of that, we're going to yarn over and put the double crochet right in between the last stitch and the second to the last stitch. This is partially how some of the decreasing is done, okay? Just like that. Now that is how we are going to end every single row from here on out. It always ends with your double crochet going in between the last stitch into the second to the last stitch. All right, it never goes into the top of it. Okay, that's it. That's what it starts to look like. Now we're going to start row 3. Now rows 3, 4, 5, and 6 are the repeat rows. All right, so it's a 4-row repeat to do that design. So we're going to start off with a chain of 3. 1, 2, 3, and we are going to turn our work. And we are going to put a double crochet into the 3rd stitch over. So counting this one, 1, 2, and 3. We're going to put it in this one, all right? So we're skipping this one, we're skipping this one, and we're putting in the 3rd one. We're going to put a double crochet into, excuse me, into that stitch. And then we're going to put a double crochet into the next one as well. Okay. Now we're going to start the repeat of row 3. We're going to do a chain of 2. 1, 2, and we're going to put a puff into this chain 2 space. So we're going to yarn over and go right through the space, and we're going to work a puff in the same manner that we worked the other ones, but we're just going into the chain space. That. Remember to chain 1 to lock it and tug on that main yarn a little bit to tighten that up, and like that. And then we're going to chain 2, 1, 2, and we're going to jump over here to the next chain 2 space, and we're going to put a puff in that one as well. Okay, right here. Chain 1 to lock it, Give it a little tug, tighten that up, just like that. And then we're going to, excuse me, chain 2 again. And then we are at our 5 double crochets. We want to work a double crochet. We're going to skip 1 and work a double crochet into the next 3. So skip this one and work a double crochet into the next 3. There's 1, 2, 3, and that ends the repeat of row 3. So what you did, you went in, these 5 right here, we just worked in the 3 in the middle. Now we're going to start the repeat over again with a chain 2. 1, 2, and we don't do anything with that double. We didn't do anything with this double either. And we puff into the chain space. That, and chain 2, puff into the next chain space, chain 2. Here's our group of 5. Skip the first one and put a double crochet into the next 3. And that ends the repeat again for row 3. So again, we would just chain 2, skip that double there, chain 2, puff in the chain 2 space, chain 2, puff into the chain 2 space, chain 2, and skip 1 double and 3 into the next. Now we want to repeat this pattern until we get to near the end of the row. All right, I'll meet up with you near the end and I'll show you how we're going to end row 3. All right, to end row 3, I just did a puff into my last chain space, and then I chained 2. Now we're going to end it by skipping this double. There's 5 double crochets here. You see, if you count this chain 3 here on the end as a double, there's 5 doubles. Okay, we're going to skip this one and we're going to put a double crochet in the next 2. So this one and this one. And then we are going to do 1 more double crochet, the last one. But remember, the last double crochet of every single row has to go in between the last 2 stitches, not on top, not in between, or not on top of either one of them. It goes in between the last 2. Okay, so right in here, double crochet, and that ends row 3. Now remember, the sides are going to taper it down, but don't worry about that because we're going to clean that all up when we put that pretty border on. Okay, so that's row 3. Now we go ahead and start row 4 with a chain of 3. 1, 2, 3, and turn our work. So this is a row 4. We are going to just go ahead and begin our repeat. Well, first thing we're going to do is we are going to skip this double crochet here, skip this double crochet here, all right? And then we're going to begin our repeat by putting a double crochet right here into this double crochet. And then we're going to put 1 double crochet into this chain 2 space. Just right through the space. Like that. And then we're going to chain 2. 1, 2. And now we are going to put a puff stitch into the next chain 2 space. So right here, excuse me, we're going to yarn over and we're just going to do our cluster or our puff or whatever into this space, just like we did all the previous ones. Like that. And we're going to chain 2, 1, 2, and we're going to put a double crochet into the next chain 2 space. So through the space we're going to double crochet, and then we're going to put a double crochet in each of, there's 3 double crochets here, in the first 2 double crochets. And then we will start our repeat. Now by starting our repeat, it means that we start by putting a double crochet into the next stitch, the next double crochet, and a double crochet into the chain space. So in reality, I know the repeats start and stop at funny spots, but that's where they have to start and stop. But in reality, you will have 5 double crochets there in a row when you come back and look. Even though the repeat starts and stops in the middle of it, you'll have 5 in a row, 1 on each, in the chain 2 spaces on each side, and then double crochet in each of those 3 from the previous row. All right. All right. And now we are going to chain 2, 1, 2, and puff stitch into the next chain 2 space. And then we will chain 2 and double crochet into the next chain 2 space, and then to end the repeat we would double crochet into the next 2 doubles like that, and that would end the repeat. And then to begin another repeat we would double crochet into the next stitch and double crochet into the chain space. So remember, even though the repeats do start and stop in the middle of these 5 doubles, there still is 5 doubles there. All right, so you can see that. So we're just going to keep repeating that pattern until we get near the end of our row, and I'll show you how we end it again. All right, we are coming to the end of row 4. Now this is how we're going to end it. So I double crocheted into my last chain space there. I'm going to put 1 double crochet into the next stitch, and now what I'm going to do is we have the chain 3 left here on the end and a double crochet. I'm going to double crochet, remember, always end in between the last 2 stitches. Okay, just like that, and that ends row 4. So that's what it should start to look like. If mine looks like the gaps are big and stuff, I am using a thicker weight yarn. For the demonstration, I'm using a 4-weight yarn, so you can see it better versus the weight that the shawl was made with. So that's why the gaps are bigger. Although I think it looks pretty. It's much more, I probably wouldn't even need to block it if I had used thicker weight yarn, but regardless, it's beautiful either way. All right, so now we're going to go ahead and start row 5. So we will begin row 5 with a chain 3, 1, 2, 3, and we will turn our work like this. And now we will start the repeat of row 5. So we're just going to jump to our next chain 2 space right here, and we're going to put a double crochet, 2 double crochets into this chain 2 space. So skip these, and in this space, 2 doubles. 1, and there is 2, like that. And then we're going to put a double crochet into the top of the puff stitch, so kind of like right here. You can put a double crochet into that, and then we're going to put a 2 double crochets into the next chain 2 space, and then we're going to put a double crochet in each of the next 5 double crochets. So basically this is kind of just a double crochet row. We're closing things up here. Sorry about my dog, he's weird and I have no idea what his problem is. And we double crocheted into the next, these 5, and that is the repeat of row 5. So again, we're just going to put 2 doubles into the chain 2 space, 1, and there's 2, a double crochet into the top of the cluster, so that little hole right there, you can just double crochet into that, would be just fine. And then 2 double crochets into the next chain 2 space, and then we want to double crochet in each of the next 5. Now we're going to repeat this pattern for row 5 until we get near the end of the row, and I will show you how we end the row in row 5 in just a second here. Let me get to it here. All right, there's my 5, and then you would just keep repeating that. All right, so I'll meet up with you at the last chain space of row 5. Now to end row 5, it's very easy. In this last chain 2 space, I just put 2 double crochets into it, and now we're just going to skip these 2 doubles, and we are going to put a double crochet in between the last chain space and the last double. All right, and that's how row 5 is ended. And please do remember, the rows on the sides look and seem a little choppy. Don't worry, we take care of that and we clean them right up to perfection. Okay, let's go ahead and do row 6, which is the final row of the repeat. Okay, we'll start off with the chain 3. 1, 2, 3, and we will turn our work. Now we are going to put a double crochet into the 3rd double. So this would be number 1, this would be number 2, so you want to put it right here into the 3rd double crochet. So you're skipping this very first one and the next one, and you want to double crochet into this one and also the next 3, so you'll have 4 there in a row. 1, 2, 3. See that? Just like that. Now we're going to start the repeat of row 6. We are going to chain 2, 1, 2, and we are going to skip 2, skip, skip, and we're going to put a puff stitch into the next. So this might be a little bit similar to row 2, but it is just a bit different. And then we are going to chain 2, and we will skip 2, skip, skip, and we are going to put a double crochet into the next 5. So skip your 2, skip, skip, and double crochet into the next 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And that ends the repeat for row 6. Like I said, it is very similar to row 2, except for we did have to do just a bit different here at the beginning than we did on row 2. All right, and then we're gonna repeat that again. So we will chain 2, 1, 2, skip 2, skip, skip, and puff into the next. Chain 2, skip 2, skip, skip, and double crochet into the next 5. Now you want to repeat this across until you get to the end. Well, I'm nearing the end because mine was a smaller sample, and mine has been decreasing. So we're going to make it look like this side. All right. As you can see, we have 5 doubles, just like we do here, but 1 stitch is skipped. All right. So I'm going to go ahead and do my 5 doubles. There's 4. 1, 2, 3. There's 4, and then we end it by skipping the stitch and going in between the last chain space and the last double and making our 5th double crochet in between those, like that. And that ends row 6, and that ends the repeat rows. Now what you do, like I said, it's gonna look choppy on the sides. Okay, it can't be clean because of the way that we're decreasing it. It's fine, because we're going to make it clean later. Do not fear. Bagoday does not leave her edges choppy. There's one thing I can't stand, is a non-clean seam and not straight edges. I always clean them up. So you want to keep repeating rows 3, 4, 5, and 6 until you get to your desired length, but you want to end on a row 5 repeat, the row of double crochet. Now I'll show you how big and how many rows I did on mine here. Okay, so this particular shawl here has a total of 49 rows, starting from row 1 all the way down. 49. All right. Now some of this might have to do with the border, but yes, a total of 49 rows, and you want to end, like I said, on that row 5 repeat row. That's just a straight double crochet row. But you can make yours as big as you want, and like I mentioned, by ending on that 49th row after it was blocked and whatnot, it measures approximately 64 inches across the bottom, but that is including that trim, that border and everything like that. So you can see I got really much room, but the gradual decline, and you can see the rows, the sides are very nice and clean. Of course they are. Of course they are. But you make yours as big as you want. Now I do want to tell you also, after you finish your repeat of rows 1 to your first row of rows 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, you're going to have 8 less stitches than you did when you started. Now, after that, every time you do a repeat of the rows, you will have a repeat, and you end on a repeat. I know the repeat ends on a row 6, but every time you get to a straight double crochet row after that first one, you'll always lose 10 stitches every time. Okay, so at my final row down here of double crochet has 177 stitches, all right, at the end of it. So one more time, the first row 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, that 5th row was a double crochet row. If you count all the stitches lost from row 1 to 5, you will have lost 8 stitches. But after that, when you repeat those sections again, and you get to the next row 5 repeat, you will always lose 10 stitches from here on out until you get to the bottom. And like I said, my bottom has 177, but you make yours as big as you want. And as I mentioned, from top to bottom, counting the trim, mine is approximately 26 inches. Unless you guys want to get started on the trim, let's do it. You guys got this. Hey, It's a beautiful trim. All right, it's beautiful. You don't have to do the picots, but there's an easy way to do them. I'm going to show you how to do them, all right? You can leave them off though if you want. Let's get started. All right, so now we're going to do some edging if you want to. So I have the top of the shawl facing me. So this is the top. I'm going to put a picot edge around the top, and then we'll have to straighten out the corners or the edges to be able to put a border on it. Actually, I'm going to wait on the picot edge. How about that? Let's start over here on this end, and let's work down the side. So I want you to have the front side of your work facing you. If you feel like there's a side that you like better than the other, have it facing up. For me, I like the row of double crochet to be facing the right side up, but it's really depending on what you like. Okay, so we're not gonna work across the top just yet. We're gonna go down these sides and across the bottom, and we're going to try to clean up this up, okay, so we can put a pretty border on it. Want to? Let's do it. So go ahead and start. Okay, so here is, we're going to start right here, and just going to go in between this, the last chain space here and this second to last double. You see that? I'm just going to go in between it, and I'm going to start my yarn. I'm going to chain one. Now I'm going to go back through that same space, and I'm going to work 2 single crochets. So there's 1 and there's 2. Now I'm going to work down, and I'm going to go in between the last stitch in the second to the last stitch of every space. Unless there's a big space here, you just go through the space. That way I don't have to worry about trying to dig through the stitches. And I'm going to put 2 single crochets in each of those spots. So you see this next one, I went in between the last double crochet into the second to last double crochet, just through the space, and I put 2 singles. This big space here, this next one, I'm just going to put 2 singles through that space. And then the space right here, 2 singles through that space. I'm going to do this all the way down until I get to a corner down there at the bottom. So next space right here, 2 singles, and the next space be between these 2 doubles, 2 singles. All right, so 2 single crochets in between at the ends of every row. See that? I'm not going into any stitch, I'm just working between the last stitch and the second to the last stitch. Just going into that space. Alright, so I'm going to continue this all the way down until I get to, here's the bottom of the shawl, until I get to here, and I'll meet up with you there, okay? Okay, so I went ahead and did the 2 single crochets into each of those spaces. Now the numbers that we have for the edging, the first couple rows here, it's very important that you have the exact numbers, otherwise it's not going to work out. So I've made it here to this last chain space on the end. I now have 98 single crochets. Now in this last one, I'm going to put another one, which would make 99, and then one more, which would make 100. And now I'm going to start across the bottom, and I'm going to start by putting 2 more stitches into this same space. So I have 100. You know what I'm going to do? I have 100 now. I'm going to go ahead and work a chain of 1, all right, just for a separation. Now we're going to work across the bottom, and we're going to go ahead and put 2 more into this space. Now you have to keep track of the number of stitches that you have, all right? So we have 100 along this side, and now we're working across the bottom. You should be able to see your stitches relatively well. We've already done 2 in this corner, and now, don't forget this first one, we can just work across the bottom, putting 1 single crochet in every stitch. Make sure you keep count of the number of stitches that you have, single crochets. And I'll see you at the other side of the bottom. Alright, so I've made it across the bottom, and I'm at this space here. So I'm not going to go in to, let me see here. What are we going to do? Okay. So we're not going to go into the top of this last stitch. We're going to go into this space right here. All right. And what we're going to do is we're going to put 2, just through the space, single crochets through it. Okay. And then we're going to chain 1. Now you should have 79 stitches across the bottom, 179 stitches across the bottom. Okay. Not counting the chain 1 on either side. So it was 100 on that side, 179 across the bottom, and now we should have 100 across this side when we work this side. So we're going to go back into the same space. We chained 1 and do 2 single crochets, just like we did on the other side. And now we're going to work across the exact same way we did on the other side. Now we're working the side, putting 2 single crochets in between the last double crochet and the second to the last double crochet. All right, just like we did before. I'm going to do this all the way until we get up to the top. Okay, and I'll be back up there with you. All right, so when you're coming to your last 2 chain spaces up here, if you did 2 in each one, you would have 98 stitches instead of 100, because we decreased on one side and not the other in the beginning. So what we're going to do now is, when you get to the last 2 stitches, in order to make it 100 like the other side, we're going to put 3 single crochets in this one, and then 3 single crochets into the last. All right, so that will give us 100 stitches on both sides. So there's 3 there. It's not going to make no difference. And then 3 up here. 1, 2, and 3. All right, so you should have 100 on each of your sides. We have not done anything with the top yet. And then you'll have 179, not counting the chain 1 spaces at all, across the bottom of your shawl, and then back around up on this side, 100 stitches. Okay. All right, let's see if we can get this to work out now. Hopefully. So we're going to chain 1, and we're going to turn our work. So now we're working on the back side. We are going to start out with a double crochet into the very first stitch, like that. I'm sorry about that. And now we're going to start the repeat. We're going to chain 3, 1, 2, 3, skip 3, 1, 2, 3, and work a double crochet into the next 3. So we put 1 double crochet in the first one, then we're going to skip 3, skip, 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 and put 1 double crochet in each of the next 3. So there's 1, 2, and 3. Let's do that again. Let's chain 3, skip 3, skip, 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 and double crochet into each of the next 3. There's 1, 2, 3. Chain 3, skip 3, skip, 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 and double crochet 1 in each of the next 3. Now we're going to go ahead and repeat this down the side until we get to the bottom corner. All right, chain 3, skip 3, and then 3 doubles, just like that. And we'll work it all the way down the side. And I'll see you here at our first bottom, right around this area, okay? And we're gonna have to work out what we're gonna do down there. All right, so I've come down here to the end, and here is the corner, and here is that chain 1. So I did 3 doubles, and I have 3 stitches left before that chain 1. So I'm going to chain 3 like that. And I'm going to work in that chain 1 space that we made. And in that chain 1 space, I'm going to work 3 doubles. 1, 2, 3, chain 3, 1, 2, 3, go back into the same space and work 3 doubles. 1, 2, and 3. Like that. Now we're going to be working across the bottom. And we're going to do the same thing across the bottom that we just did along the sides. We're going to chain 3 now and skip 3. Don't forget that first one. Skip, 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 and then a double into the next 3. Double, double, and double. Chain 3, skip 3, skip, 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 and 1 double into the next 3. So we're doing the exact same thing we did on the what we did on the side. We're now doing it on the bottom. All right, and we're going to continue this until we get all the way across the bottom and until we get to the other corner. Now we may not, if my math is correct, it's not going to end out exactly the way we want it, but that's okay. Sometimes that happens. We're going to make it work anyways. All right, so if you get to the end and you notice you might have an extra stitch or so, we'll take care of it. All right, so for now, just continue this until we get over here near the other corner. All right, so we do just have to do just a bit of fudging here to make this work, and that's okay, because that's, if I wrote out a proper pattern, it wouldn't even be fudging. It would just be skip 2 instead of 3. You know what I mean? So when you make it here, I've made it here, and I have, here's my chain 1 space. I have 16 stitches there. I did 3 doubles here, and then I have 16 stitches before my chain 1 space. All right, so we have to do it a bit differently. Now it has to be done this way, not just for this row, but it has to be done because the other rows after have to have a certain number of spaces in between them to work. So it has to be done like this. So what we're going to do now, so you got 16 stitches left there before you hit your corner, and no one's going to be able to tell this, so we don't worry about it. We're still going to chain 3. We're only going to skip 2 though. Skip, skip, and then we are going to put a double crochet into the next 3. 1, 2, 3, chain 3, but we just do it, skip a 2, skip, skip, and then a double crochet into the next 3. 1, 2, 3, chain 3, skip a 2, skip, skip, double crochet into the next 3, 1, 2, and 3, and you have two stitches left instead of 3 before your chain 1 space here. I think that's correct. Well, it doesn't matter. Anyways, we're going to chain 3. 1, 2, 3. Just skip whatever remaining stitches you have left. And into that chain 1 space on the corner. It's hard to tell here. We're going to work 3 doubles. 1, 2, 3. Chain 3 and go back in and work 3 more doubles. 1, 2, and 3. And oops. And then we're gonna repeat the same pattern up the side that we did on the other side. Should end correctly, hopefully. So you just chain 3, and then you skip your 3. I do that right. 1, 2, 3. And so yeah, skip, skip, skip. That chain one's messing with me. Okay, chain your 3, skip your 3. So skip, 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 and then do a double crochet into the next 3. So this is the same as we did on the other side. Chain 3, skip 3, double crochet in the next 3. Now as far as this down here, no one's going to be able to notice it. Don't worry about it, because we have much prettier rows to come, and they will be the focal point of the entire shawl. And it has to be done this way because, as I mentioned, the rows coming up on the edging require certain numbers of chain 3s and certain numbers of sets of double crochets. So this was the only way. But like I said, it's not a big deal. No one will know but us. Alright, so just continue your up the side till you get up here to the top. Your chain 3, skip 3, 3 doubles. Chain 3, skip 3, 3 doubles. Alright. And I will see you near the end. All right, so when you make it back to the top, you should have been able to end the same way you started over on the other end, wherever that is. We started with just one double crochet, and then we skipped chain 3 and skipped 3, and then we started our repeat. So they should be matching now. All right, so let's go ahead for the next row. We're going to chain 1, and we're going to turn our work back around here. Now we are going to put 1 single crochet into that very first stitch, like that. And then we're going to go into this chain space, just right through it, and we're going to put 1 single crochet into that chain space. And now we're going to work 5 double crochets in this space. It actually looks a little better if you go into the chain 3 space, if you go into the middle stitch of that chain 3 space, so like the second chain on it, it holds the 5 double crochets together better. You don't have to do that. You can just go through the entire chain space, but if you put them in that middle stitch, they kind of stay together versus kind of just spreading out. So I'm going to go in, I'm going to put 5 double crochets through there, maybe. Okay, this is going to start the repeat of this row. There's 2, 3, 4, and there's 5. So that kind of, if you do it in that chain space, it kind of keeps them together just a little bit better. Now we are going to chain 5 again. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And we're going to jump to the next chain space here, and we're going to single crochet into it like that. And then we're going to single crochet into it again. So 2 single crochets into it, and then we're going to chain 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and that ends the repeat, because now we're going to jump to the next chain space, and we're going to do the 5 doubles. Remember, you can go through the space and do it if you want, but they tend to spread out. So I'm going to go into the middle of that, the middle chain of that chain 3 from the previous row, and I'm going to work my 5 doubles. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, and we're kind of going to just repeat what we just did. So we're going to chain 5 again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and we're going to jump to the next chain space right here. Single crochet just into the space once, and then we're going to single crochet into it again like that. So 2 singles in there. Then we're going to chain 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and that ends that repeat. And we're going to start it again in the next chain space here by doing a 5 double crochets in the middle chain of that chain 3 from the previous row. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, and there's 5. All right, so we're going to go ahead and repeat this. It's kind of what it starts to look like all the way down the side until we get down here near the point that's at the bottom. All right, so I'll see you in a second. All right, so I have made it down here to my first corner down here at the bottom, and you can see that I did 5 doubles here, chained 5, and then I single crocheted into this last chain space before this corner spot. Now I'm going to single crochet into it again and do another chain 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and now I'm going to work into this chain 2 space right here. That's what I'm calling the corner. All right, and we're going to work 7 double crochets into that space. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and there's 7. Just like that. Now we're just going to repeat everything that we just did all the way around back to our starting point. So we're going to be working on the bottom now. So we're just going to do the same thing on the bottom. So since we have a chain 5 here, we have to start with the chain 5 here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and into the next chain space we single crochet like that, and then we have to do it again. Single crochet, chain 5, and then into the next chain 3 space here, 5 doubles in the middle one. 1, 3, 4, 5, and then we chain 5, and in the next chain space we got to do 2 singles, so there's 1, and we do another, there's 2, chain 5, and repeat it again, jump to our next chain space, 5 doubles into the middle chain space, just like that. So we're going to repeat this all the way around. That's what we're going to do. So you see how the corner is made. The other one is going to be made the exact same way. It'll have the chain spaces, chain 5s will have to be on the end of both. You'll do the chain 5 and then do your 7 doubles, and then you'll start your next one with the chain 5. All right, so this is what we're going to do all the way across the bottom, this in the next corner, and then we're going to do this all the way up the other side until we get back up here to where the other side to where we end. All right, and then we'll start on another row. All right, so I'm coming to the end of this row of the border. So I did my shell here, and you can see I have 1 chain space left. So I'm going to chain 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and we're going to make it match the other side where we first started. So on that one, we just put 1 single crochet into the chain space, and then we're going to end with the 1 single crochet into the top of that double crochet, just like that. And that's what that looks like. All right, let's go again. Let's do another round. Want to? Okay. Let's chain 1 and turn our work. It's big here. Trying to get it where you can see what we're doing here. Okay. Now remember, this is the top up here, and we're working down the side, and then when we get down to the corner, we do the corner, and then we work across the bottom, and then back up the other side. Okay, for this one, I think what we're going to do is, let's see here. Let's do a double crochet into the very first stitch. Okay. Now we're going to work this chain, see this chain space here? We're going to put 5 single crochets. You can go through the space, or you can, since it's a chain 5, you can put 1 in each of the chain spaces. I'm just going to go through, and I'm going to put 5 singles. 1, 2, 3, 4, and there's 5, like that. So we just kind of skipped that other single crochet that was right there. Okay, now we are going to work a chain of 7. That's what's going to go over each of these shells, is a chain of 7. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And then we're just going to jump over here to this next chain 5 space, and we are going to work 5 single crochets into it. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, and you can kind of spread them out, you know, like that. And this is what we're going to repeat all the way across. So right when we get to here, this is where we had 2 singles from the previous row. Just skip them and jump over here to the next space and work 5 singles up this chain. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And then we're going to do a chain 7 over this shell. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And then we're going to jump over to the next chain space here and work 5 single crochets. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And remember, you can spread them out to space them out. And we're just going to skip these 2 singles here from the previous row and jump over to the next chain space and work 5 singles. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then again we'll chain 7 and 5 singles, skip these 2, 5 singles, chain 7, and we're going to repeat that all the way down until we get down here to our corner, our first corner. So this is what this is starting to look like. And remember, if you go in through the chain space like me, you probably have to spread these out a bit. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah. But yeah, that's what it starts to look like. All right, I'll see you down there at the bottom. All right, so I've made it here down to the bottom, to the first corner at the bottom here. And see, I did the 5 singles here on this side, skip these 2 singles from the previous row, 5 singles into that chain space. Now over the corner shell here, we're going to do a chain of 12. And we're just going to do a chain 11, I'm sorry. Chain of 11, all right? And then we're just going to jump over here to, now we'll be working on the bottom. So we'll jump right over here to this first chain and we'll start again doing what we were doing. 5 single crochets in the chain spaces. And this is what we're going to repeat all the way around back to the beginning. There's 5, and then you just skip these 2 and jump to the next. Three, 4, and 5. And remember, you could straighten them out if you need to. And then it's a chain 7 over these small shells. All right. So repeat this all the way across the bottom. And then, sorry about my dogs. And then when you get to your next corner, it's the chain 11. And then continue on until you get back up here to your starting point. All right, so when you're coming to the end here, I just did 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 single crochets in that last chain space, and we want to end with a double crochet into our last stitch here, like we did on the other side. All right, now we're going to chain 1 and turn our work around. So we're back at the top and working down the side. Here's our bottom corner and then the bottom. All right, so now what we're going to do is we're going to put a double crochet back into that first stitch like that. And now we are going to skip just 2 stitches here. So we're going to skip 1, 2, and 1, 2, 3. Yeah, we're going to skip 2, and we're going to put a single crochet into the next 3. So there's 1, 2, and 3. Now just here at the beginning is the only spot that we'll put 3 single crochets in that group, in the groups of 5, and then at the end at the spot. Now what we're going to do is we're going to be working into this chain space here, and we're going to work 11 double crochets through this chain space. So just go right through it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and 11. So these 11 double crochets here, they're starting to repeat, okay? And then we're going to come down here. All right, so we're going to come down to these 5 single crochets here, and we're just going to put a single crochet in the first 2. All right, so single crochet into the first one, and then we're going to single crochet into the second one, like that. Now we're going to skip all these stitches, and we're going to jump over here to the last 2 single crochets on this side, and we're going to put a single crochet in the each of the last 2 over here. So there's 1, and there's 2, like that. And that we can start the repeat again by putting 11 double crochets through this chain space. Three, 7, 8, 9, 10, and 11 again. So there's 11 double crochets there. And now again we are going to put a single crochet into the first 2 single crochets here. So there's 1 in the first one, and then 1 in the next one. And now we're going to skip all these single crochets until we get to our last 2 over here before the chain space, and we're going to put a single crochet into the last 2, each of the last 2 over here before the chain space. There's 1, and there's 2, and then we can start the repeat again by putting 11 double crochets in there. So this is kind of what it starts to look like, though, but we do have another row still to go. But so it kind of starts a little bit sorry, like that. So again, you know, this will kind of be down a little bit where there's single crochets are, and again we will do 11 doubles into the chain space, and then the 2 singles right after that, 1 single in each of those, and then we skip all these singles until we get to the last 2 singles over here before this chain space, and we single crochet in each of those, and then we repeat, and then we're going to repeat this all the way down until we get down to our first corner. All right, so I'll meet up with you down here at our first corner at the bottom of the shawl. All right, so I made it down to the bottom of the shawl, and here is the first corner of it. Here's our big ring, and I just did my 2 single crochets right before the big ring, or the big chain space. Now in the corners, the two big corners that we have, we're going to be putting 17 double crochets through there. All right. Three, there's 4, 5, All right, so there's my 17 double crochets in the big corner. Remember, we do have 2 of those, so this is the first one at the bottom. And now we're going to be working across the bottom part of the shawl, doing the same thing that we've been doing. So I just did my 17 doubles, so I want to come here and I want to put a single crochet into the first 2 singles. There's 1 and 2, and then I want to skip all these and come over here to the last 2 singles, 1, 2, before this chain space, and I want to single crochet in those. As you can see, I kind of pull it a little bit tight together. Didn't have to be real tight, but there's 1 and there's 2, and now we're back to our smaller shells across the bottom, which get 11 double crochets in each of those. Alright, there's 11. And then we're just going to repeat what here on the bottom, what we did on the other side. So the first 2 single crochets we work in, we put 1 single crochet in each of them. There's 1. And the next one gets 1. And then we jump all the way over here to our next chain space and the 2 single crochets before that chain space, or the last 2 of all these single crochets here. Put a single crochet in each of those, and we're going to continue this all the way around until we get back to our starting point. So I'll show you what it's starting to look like here, so you can kind of know what to expect. So you can see that this is one of the sides that goes up to the top, and here is our smaller shells areas, and then here is the corner that has 17 double crochets into it. So we're going to repeat all this all the way across the bottom, what we're doing, and then when we get to the other corner at the bottom, we're going to do it the same way we did this one, just 17 double crochets. And then we will repeat the same pattern of putting the 11 doubles into the chain spaces, you know, and the 2 singles after the chain and the 2 singles before the chain, all the way until we get back over here to the other side. And this is where I'll meet back up with you at the top of the opposite side. Okay, I'll see you in a second. All right, so I'm coming to the end here. I am at this is the top, and this is the opposite side from where we started. And I just did my last 11 double crochets. So remember, at the beginning we're going to do 3 single crochets here, or here at the end, because at the beginning we did 3 single crochets, and instead of 2, there's 1, 2, and 3, and we're going to end with 1 double crochet into the top of our last stitch. Now we're going to chain 1 and turn our work, and we're going to do some picots. If you like picots, you don't have to put picots on it, of course not. Now, one thing I'm going to do here is I'm trying to keep this top as straight as possible, and I do notice a little bit of a slant. So what I'm going to do in this first stitch here, I'm going to put 1 double and then 2 doubles. Let me take a quick look and see what that looks like. Let me go ahead and put 3 double crochets into that. I'm sorry, I'm just checking this out as I go. I don't really, there we go. Okay, yeah, we'll do that. 3 double crochets in that first stitch. It may not be perfectly straight across, but we will fix it when we do that final edge at the top. Okay, we're gonna do, we did 3 doubles into that first stitch, and now we're gonna jump over, and the last single crochet before our first double, let's single crochet into let's not do that. Yeah, let's do that. The last single before the double, let's single crochet into that, like that, okay? And now we're going to kind of start the repeat of the row, okay? We're going to single crochet into our first double crochet of this group of 11. And then we're going to single crochet into the next double crochet, but we're going to do a chain 3 picot. So what we're going to do is chain 3, and I'm going to do the picot a little bit different than normal. I'm going to go a chain 3, and I'm going to go through the side of it like we always do, but instead of slip stitching that picot, what I'm going to do is pull it through, and I'm just going to, instead of going slip stitching like we do usually on picots, I'm just going to yarn over and go through the 2 loops like a single crochet. So that's a chain 3 single crochet picot. And now what we're going to do is kind of repeat that pattern. So we're going to put 1 single crochet into the next without a picot on it. And the next we're going to put a single crochet with the chain 3 picot. So we're going to do chain 3, and we're going to go into the side of it like this and draw through, and instead of slip stitching, I'm just going to yarn over and go single crochet, yarn over and go through those 2 loops. If you want to do the slip stitch picot, by all means you can do that too. It's completely up to you, whatever's easiest for you. Then I'm going to single crochet into the next double without a picot, single crochet into the next double, and then I'm going to do my picot. So I'm going to chain 3, slip stitch into the side of it, not slip stitch, I'm sorry, go into the side of it like that, and I'm just going to single crochet like that, and then I'm going to go to the next double and put a single crochet without a picot. The next double will get a picot, chain 3, and the next double, single crochet without a picot. The next double will get a single crochet with the picot, and then the last double here, which is going to be 1 single without a picot, like that. And now what we are going to do is single crochet into the single crochet right after this double crochet. And then we're gonna skip these singles and single crochet into the single crochet right before the doubles. And then we're gonna start again with the picots. So the first double crochet is a single crochet without a picot, and the next double is a single crochet with the picot, and this is what we're going to repeat: single crochet in the next one without a picot, and then single crochet into the next one with the picot. We'll do this all the way across to our 11. So each double crochet gets a single, but every other one gets a picot. The first one double crochet and the last double crochet do not get picots. Go ahead and finish this one out. Single crochet. This is my last picot for this one. And then I have 1 double left, single crochet into it, and then I'm going to put 1 single crochet into the single crochet that's directly after that last double, and then I'm going to jump over here and I'm going to put a single crochet into the single crochet that's directly next to the first double, and then I'm going to repeat. First double is a single, and the next double is a single with a single and then a picot. So this is what it starts to look like. And like I said, don't worry about that. If that's dipping down a bit, we can straighten that out. We will straighten it out. All right, we'll try. So we're going to do this all the way down until we get down here to the corner. And actually, when you get down here to the corner, it's the exact same thing, except for you're going to have more picots. When you get down here to the corner, you know, you'd single crochet into the stitch before the double. And the first double is a single without a picot. The next one, single with a picot. Single without, single with, single without, single with. Without with, without with, without with, without a picot, with a picot, without a picot, with a picot. And the last one is always without. And then we just start again, single crocheting into the very first single crochet after your first double, and then single crocheting into the single crochet next to your first double over here. So it's the same thing when you go around the corner as what we're doing now. Because like I said, you're just going to have more picots. So I'm going to repeat this pattern all the way around until I get back to my starting point. All right, so I went all the way around, across the bottom, back up the other side, and now I'm at the top of the other side. So I just went across here. I just single crocheted into my last double crochet. I'm going to single crochet into the next single crochet, and then I'm going to put 3 double crochets into the last stitch to match the other side. Now what we're going to do is no more across the bottom, but I didn't even get the right stitch. But we're going to work across the top and clean that up. Sorry about that. All right, 3 doubles in that last stitch. All right, so I'm not gonna turn my work or anything. I'm just gonna continue working, and we're gonna work across the top. So now we are across the top of the shawl. All right, so we're done doing all around the sides and the bottom. Yay! All right. So we're going to straighten this out a bit. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to chain 1, and I'm going to start working across the top. So into this first double crochet here on the top of it, I'm going to work 2 double crochets. I'm just going to go in between the last double crochet I just made and the second to the last. I'm going to work 1 double and then another double like that. We're working across the top here, and then I'm going to put a double into this spot right here. I'm actually going to put, let me look here what I got here. Yeah, and then a double into this spot. Doesn't have to be exact. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4. Let's do another double. I'm going to put it right about here. So just kind of evenly space out 5 double crochets until you get to this point right here. And now I'm going to go through that space. I'm going to work 2 half doubles. 1, 2, like that. And then I'm going to work a half double. See this little space here? Just kind of go into it and half double. And then another half double somewhere around this space here. Then you can be in the same spot if you want, but like that. So we worked evenly spaced out until we got to this big point here, or this big section here. So because remember the top was kind of dipping down, so I'm gonna straighten it out here a bit here. So we did 5 doubles and then 4 half doubles. Like I said, they don't have to be perfect, just evenly space them. And now I'm gonna start working single crochets across the top So in this spot here, I'm going to work 1, 2, 3, and then I'm just going to go across the top, put a single crochet. I think to make it easier, you can put one in every stitch, but to make it easier, I'm just going to go between the doubles and put a single crochet. See that? It's right in between them. Well, let me look at see what that looks like on the other side. Yeah, that'd be fine. So I'm just going to put a single crochet. You can do it in the top if you want, but me, I'm just going to go right in between them and work a single crochet, and I'm going to do this all the way across the top, and this is going to clean up that top edge. I'm going to do that, the single crochets here, until we get to all the way across the top, until we get to this section over here of our border, and we'll have to do this same thing here to make it look even. Alright, so I'm going to continue across the top with single crochets, and I'll meet you at the other side where we started our border. Alright, so I've made it across the top, and I'm at the other end. So in this open space here, I do believe we put 3 single crochets in there somewhere. Doesn't have to be perfect. And then we have to do 4 half doubles and 5 doubles along the top. Evenly space them out as best you can. So there's 1 half double, 2 half double, 3 half double, 4, another one in the same spot, and then it was 5 doubles. So I'm going to go right here. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Remember, just do your best to evenly space those. They don't have to be perfect. Alright, so that's straightened out the top of it. Now I'm going to chain 1 and I'm going to turn my work. So remember, we're just working along the top edge. There's a lot of stitches up there. Alright. Okay, I was going to put picots up here. To tell you the truth, I'm kind of sick of picots now. So you can do picots if you want, of course. So here we are at our top edge. You can see that we have straightened it out by doing those doubles, half double, tapering down, doubles, half doubles, and then we went across it with single. So, alright, so what I'm going to do is, you can do whatever you want across the top. Alright, you can be done if you want. Sure, be done. You can do picots. Picots would be cool. You could do like the crab stitch or the reverse single. That'd be pretty cool. You could do nothing. Whatever you want to do. I'm actually just going to do one more row of just one single crochet in every stitch. Just to give it a final nice and crisp, clean edge on the front side. So this will be my final work on this shawl here. Is 1 single crochet in every stitch across the top of the shawl. So I'm not doing any doubles or half doubles or anything, because pretty much straightened up that top edge with what we did on the last row. So now strictly single for me. I don't think I could do another picot if I had to. No, I'm just kidding. I just think that I'm just going to do a clean cut straight edge on the top here. Yeah. Nice. I like it. Alright, I'm going to cross the top, and when I get to the end, I'm tying off, and I'll be finito. Alright, that's it. I'm finito. It's done. It's finished. I hope that you enjoy my tutorial. I hope you were able to follow along okay. If you did enjoy this tutorial, please hit that like and subscribe button. If I was, able to you follow along and able to teach you okay, and you were able to make it and you enjoyed it, yes, please hit that like button. Leave me a comment below. Let me know what you think. If you make this, please show me a picture on my Facebook page. And please check out my other tutorials. I have hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of them. Anything that you could ever want to make. I will see you guys on my next video, okay? Okay. Take care. Bye, guys.